The time is 6:15. Here is the news edited by Anjana Dudangoda, read by Victor Raj. Here are the headlines of the local news. The President emphasizes on modernizing the agricultural sector. The Prime Minister has held fruitful discussions with the Prime Minister of Thailand. State-owned companies to provide urea for 9,000 rupees from June 15th. Media Minister says Broadcasting Authority Act will be drafted soon. China reaffirms its steadfast support for Sri Lanka's economic recovery. A development plan of the Trincomalee, Batticaloa and Ambara districts. Foreign news. China's Xi Jinping tells national security chiefs to prepare for worst-case scenarios. Sports news. Cricket. Mathisa Pathirana becomes the third youngest player to win an IPL trophy at the age of 20. Local news in detail. The President Wickremesinghe has emphasized the importance of continuing the government's efforts to modernize the agriculture sector, improve nutrition, addressing climate change and enhance financial security during a meeting focused on the digitalization of data in Sri Lanka's agricultural sector. The President's Media Division reported meeting had been taken place at the Presidential Secretariat yesterday between President Ranil Wickremesinghe and representatives from the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. During the meeting, officials from the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation expressed their willingness to support these activities, provided they aligned with the government's policies and regulations regarding financial assistance and the use of modern technology. Meanwhile, the President's Media Division said President Ranil Wickremesinghe will deliver a special statement at 8 p.m. tomorrow. Prime Minister Dinesh Gunawardena has held extensive discussions with the Prime Minister of Thailand on bilateral relations. According to the Prime Minister's media unit, the meeting took place at the Government House in Bangkok during the 3-day visit of Prime Minister Gunawardena to Thailand. The visit was to attend the United Nations Vesak Day celebrations and discuss the strengthening of bilateral relations between the two countries and to strengthen trade and investment and religious ties. Sri Lanka and Thailand belong to BIMSTEC, a body that promotes free trade amongst its members. Prime Minister Gunawardena briefed the Thai Prime Minister about the plans implemented by the government to overcome the economic crisis and revive economic activities. He also stressed the government plans to have close economic cooperation with ASEAN member countries. The price of a 50-kilogram bag of urea fertilizer sold by the companies will be priced at 9,000 rupees from June 15th. The decision was taken during a discussion held by Agriculture Minister Mahinda Amravira on reducing the price of urea this morning. Another 1,500 metric tons of urea is scheduled to arrive between 10th to 12th of June 2023. The minister mentioned that this step was taken to give the farmers the advantage of the rupee gained strength against the US dollar and the downward trend in the price of urea in the global market. This news comes to you from the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. Continuing with more local news. Sung Wei-dong, the Vice President of Foreign Affairs, has reaffirmed China's steadfast support for Sri Lanka in its ongoing economic recovery when he paid a courtesy call on President Ranil Wickremesinghe yesterday at the Presidential Secretariat. During the discussions attended by the officers from both nations, the President expressed his sincere appreciation for the unwavering assistance provided by China during this critical period. Furthermore, Vice Minister Sung Wedong announced China's keen interest in exploring opportunities to strengthen the bilateral relations between the two countries. This commitment highlights China's dedication to fostering closer ties with Sri Lanka on various fronts. Cabinet spokesperson Minister Dr. Bandulu Gunawardena yesterday stressed the importance of having a strong legal system for all the fields to help the country to recover from the current crisis. The minister said that the Broadcasting Authority Act will be drafted soon. The minister said this yesterday while attending the press conference to announce the cabinet decisions held at the Government Information Department. Commenting further, the minister pointed out that the broadcasting license are not granted according to the internationally recognized standard system. Therefore, he pointed out that the cabinet subcommittee has been appointed under the chairmanship of Dr. Vijayadasa Rajapaksa to draft a Broadcasting Authority Act. That ends local news.
The main news story is brought to you by Siddhalepa Vedamahatmya.
President Ranil Wickremesinghe's decisive diplomacy following strained relations with Japan was hailed by the Cabinet of Ministers at its meeting on Monday, whilst approving the interest in picking up the abruptly abandoned light rail transit project. Before leaving for Tokyo, the President got the approval from the Cabinet to resume the discussion on the LRT project. The official visit to Japan was an important and decisive step towards winning their trust again. Cabinet co-spokesman and Minister Bandulu Gunawardena said at the post-cabinet meeting media briefing yesterday. Noting that Japan is a key development partner of Sri Lanka, he claimed that the abrupt cancellation of LRT and East Container Terminal hit the diplomatic ties between the two countries. That ends main news story.
The main news story was brought to you by Siddhalepa Vedamahatmya.
Moving on to Watchlight, the Fire Service Department of the Colombo Municipal Council says its emergency contact numbers 110 and 0112 422 222 are out of order at the moment due to a technical error. Hence, in the event of an emergency, the members of the public are urged to contact the Colombo Fire Brigade via its general contact number 0112 686 087 until the situation is rectified. That ends Watchlight. Moving on to world news, let's take a look at the headlines. China's Xi Jinping tells national security chiefs to prepare for worst-case scenarios. North Korean leader says satellite launch fails and plans to try again. Russia says it destroyed Ukraine's last warship. World news in detail. Chinese leader Xi Jinping has called on his top national security officials to think about worst-case scenarios and prepare for stormy seas as the ruling Communist Party hardens efforts to counter any perceived internal and external threats, Chinese Premier said at a meeting of the party's National Security Commission. The complexity and difficulty of the national security issues we now face have increased significantly, state news agency Xinhua reported yesterday. North Korea's attempt to put a military reconnaissance satellite in space failed Wednesday when the second stage of the rocket malfunctioned, state-run Korean Central News Agency said, adding the Pyongyang planned to carry out a second launch as soon as possible. The report said the reliability and stability of the new engine system was low and the fuel used unstable, leading to the mission's failure. North Korea's National Space Development Agency said it would investigate the failure urgently and carry out another launch after new testing. North Korea news agency reported. Russia's defense minister said on Wednesday that its forces had destroyed what it described as Ukraine's last warship 2 days ago in the port of Odessa in the missile strike. Though there was no immediate comment from Kyiv on the fate of the vessel, Defense Minister spokesman Igor Konzahenko said that the last warship of the Ukrainian Navy, the Yuri Olefirenko, was destroyed at the warship mooring in the port of Odessa. To wrap up the world news, let's take a look at the headlines. China's Xi Jinping tells national security chiefs to prepare for worst-case scenario. North Korean leader says satellite launch fails and plans to try again. Russia says it destroys Ukraine's last warship. That ends world news.
Development news.
Urban Development Housing Minister Prasanna Ranatunga called on the authorities to pay more attention to the tourism, fishing industry and investment sectors when preparing the Eastern Metropolitan Development Plan. The minister was speaking during a discussion held at the Urban Development Authority Auditorium on Monday, as instructed by President Ranil Wickremesinghe, that speedy measures to be taken to implement the Eastern Metropolitan Development Plan. So far, preliminary work has been started on the development plans of the Trincomalee, Batticaloa and Ampara districts. These are designed by a Singapore Institute of City Architects on the advice of the Urban Development Authority. Under the Eastern Metropolitan Development Plan, the Kuchiveli and the Nilaveli areas in the Trincomalee district will be developed as marine and eco-tourism zones. The Verugal and Pasikuda areas in the Batticaloa district will be developed as fishing and tourism zones, and the area from Komari to Panama in the Ampara districts will be developed as coastal eco-tourism zones. Kinya will also be developed as a fisheries town, Pulmode as a mineral town and Muthur as a green energy town. That ends development news. Moving on to sports news, cricket. Chennai Super Kings registered a thrilling win on the last ball of the match as Ravindra Jadeja pulled off an unbelievable haste in this scored 10 runs over the last 2 balls to win the game. Apart from the usual big stars in the side, Sri Lankan seamer Matisha Patirana also played a pivotal role in helping his side clinch their 5th title. Patirana also became the 3rd youngest player to win an IPL trophy at the age of 20 years and 161 days. Before him, Ravindra Jadeja and Rahul Chahar are the 2 youngest players to have lifted the coveted trophy in the history of the tournament. That ends sports news.
Go ekakthiyana youth eකට life එකේ change එකට නියමෙට set වෙන්න ඇස් වහගෙන දැකපු ගීත හැබැ කරන්න youth එකට නියමෙට set වෙන friendship එක මෙන්න.
The all-new NSB Ithru account, NSB IM, a plan for your dream.
Business News, sponsored by National Savings Bank, the safest place for your money.
In the wake of Sri Lanka's unprecedented socio-economic crisis in early 2022, the John Keells Group launched a multi-pronged crisis response initiative through its corporate social responsibility entity John Keells Foundation. Implemented in partnership with the group business across the island, this initiative has made significant strides in supporting and empowering communities, aligning with the group's CSR vision of empowering the nation for tomorrow. The programs implemented within the initiative focused on the 3 key areas: health and nutrition, education and livelihood development. That ends business news.
Business News, sponsored by National Savings Bank, the safest place for your money.
Go එකක් තියන youth එකට life එකේ change එකට නියමෙට set වෙන්න ඇස් වහගෙන දැකපු ගීන හැබැයි කරන්න youth එකට නියමෙට set වෙන්න friendship එක මෙන්න
The all-new NSB Ithru Mithru account. NSB IM, a plan for your dream.
Economic news, courtesy of...
For the 5th consecutive year, LOLC is awarded People's Financial Services Brand of the Year at the 2022 Slim Kantar People's Awards. As the People's Financial Services Brand of the Year, LOLC continues to place the customer first. And this has won the hearts, minds and trust of Sri Lankans, with yet another prestigious award as proof of this lasting commitment. LOLC. Imagine the possibilities.
Food security in Sri Lanka is improving across all provinces. A United Nations report said, noting that food insecurity has dropped by nearly 40% from July 2022. A crop and food security assessment mission report jointly carried out in the February-March 2023 by the UN's Food and Agriculture Organization of the United Nations and the World Food Programme said an estimated 3.9 million people, or 17% of the population, is in moderate acute food insecurity as at May 2023. This indicates nearly a 40% decrease from June-July 2022, with nearly 10,000 people considered severely acute food insecure at present, down from 66,000 people last year. That ends Economic News.
LOLC Finance is taking the power of innovation, winning 5 golds at the Technovation Awards 2022, leading the digital revolution with cutting-edge interbanking digital payments. LOLC Finance claims the overall gold award whilst also claiming an extraordinary victory in digital banking. LOLC Finance will continue to innovate with the next generation digitalization of financial services, delivering a superior customer experience.
Weather report.
Meteorology Department says showers or thunder showers will occur at times in the Western Province and in the Galle and Mathura districts. Showers or thunder showers will occur in Sabaragamuwa, Central, Uva and Eastern Provinces during the evening or night. Fairly heavy showers above 50 mm are likely at some places in Uva Province. The general public is kindly requested to take adequate precautions to minimize damages caused by the temporarily localized strong winds and lightning during thunder showers. That ends weather report. To wrap up the evening news on Radio Sri Lanka, let's take a look at the headlines once again. The President emphasizes on modernizing the agricultural sector. The Prime Minister has held fruitful discussions with the Prime Minister of Thailand. State-owned companies to provide urea for 9,000 rupees from June 15th. Media Minister says Broadcasting Authority Act will be drafted soon. China reaffirms its steadfast support for Sri Lanka's economic recovery. A development plan of Trincomalee, Batticaloa and Ampara districts. Foreign news, China's Xi Jinping tells national security chiefs to prepare for worst-case scenario. Sports news, cricket. Matisha Pathirana becomes the third youngest player to win an IPL trophy at the age of 20. With that, we wrap up the evening news on Radio Sri Lanka. Back to my good friend and yours, Ramesh Peris.
Thank you, Victor, and that was Victor Raj with this evening's news bulletin. May I take this opportunity to wish Victor a pleasant evening indeed.